So this is Baruch. I'm here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and we're about to get back into another session. I don't know when I'll actually bring this onto YouTube because it's a big piece, and I'm thinking now what I need to do is privately go through these different longer sections and then start releasing them as I complete them when I get the whole thing done. This is Yaakov Kronenberg's great book, The Jewish Astrology, a Cosmic Science. It has Torah within it, Talmud, Zohar. It's the study of the hidden science of Jewish astrology. In the first part of this book, which we read, I'm not sure it's categorized well, but if you could find it, we read through his introduction to what Jewish astrology is and comparing it to other different ideas where we see in the Gentile world. One thing stands out above all the rest, and we're going to see this today, because today we're going to talk about what I consider to be the most difficult part of this book, and a part that I'd really like to know. And this is the consultation of the permutations and the combinations of Hashem's name, because he says like this, and we're going to get into it and into the detail, is that the Kabbalists refer to this world as the world of wheels, the world of balls. So you see the astrological chart is in the form of a ball because the Earth is round. And it means and constantly turning. It's constantly cycling. What's going on today, even at 3 o'clock today, is not going to be the same as 3 o'clock yesterday. And there's going to be no times that match except that they're just in terms of the cycle. But every single day and all the things that happen to us in the day are different. So we understand it could be this way, it could be that way. And we could try to find an understanding of what's actually going on in this world of cycles in which we live. Let's take a look at where we're going to go now. Let me see, I think it's right over here. We're going to go into this section which is called the Permutations of God's Name. I'm going to bring this down a little bit, and we're going to look at it in different ways so we can actually see what's playing here. So there is a concept here of the permutations of the name of God. The name of God is called Yud-K, Vav-K. These letters here. You have to know a little bit, just a little bit of Hebrew to know that this is what we call, I'm going to get it on the screen here, the name of God. Yud, and then a Hey, and then a Vav, and another Hey. Now, as you look around this wheel, this is the pinwheel, right? This is actually what's going on month-wise, or every year. There are going to be 12 different spots on this, and as a result of that, we're going to have 12 different places. As we see, there are 12 months, both in the Jewish calendar and in the current calendar that we're working with. The way that God shines his light is going to be through these letters. And so he says he's going to say that there are 5 levels here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you get to the very center that everything spins around. And you have the name here, again, Yud-K, Vav-K. And then the 5 different levels show you different aspects of this name. Now you go to the next month, and let this month in the chart, which we're going to see of Adam Arishon, is called April, or Aries. It's Aries. It's the beginning of everything. But the next month, when you come to the next month, which is going to be called Taurus, and here's the words right here, if you can see them. Try to get it down a little bit more. His Taurus is going to have a different combination of those letters. When you come to Gemini, that's this 3rd level down here, or 4th level, or whatever it is. He says you're going to have a different combinations that go along. And then the 2nd level also, which has the name, here, let's look at this one, it has the name Adni. So you could take the Adni and you can switch the letters around there. It becomes Adig, Adin, something different. So there is something going on there. We want to try to find out what it is that is going on as the world turns and as each day progresses into a different cycle. So Aries lasts approximately in the sun calendar from the end of March, like say March 21st, 22nd, 23rd, until the April, same kind of date, more or less 30 days later, but it's not always like this, it's variations. Then you're going to move to the next month, which is going to be Taurus, which is more deeper into the spring if we're looking at the sun only. And to give us an idea of, relatively speaking, that's a deeper time. That's another time. In Israel, it's a different time. I live in Florida. There are not 4 seasons in Florida. There's 2 seasons in Florida. We're right now in what they call the dry season, which is cool and damp. And in the wintertime, we're the rainy season, which is wet and damp. So that's what you have in Florida. But at any rate, each one of the months has a change to it. And he says the energy that comes from the Almighty, which is really the center of this whole idea, is spinning around it. It's all spinning around, and energy is coming from that, but the wheel keeps moving. Now, let's see if we can understand it as we read the beginning, the introduction to what Reb Yaakov Kronenberg has to say. So here we go, get it online, and let's read it like this. The first chapter, Permutations of God's Name. Let us have a look at the concept of permutations in Kabbalah and astrology. Permutation of Hebrew letters is a deep subject, and it's a powerful tool to reveal hidden truths and realities. Its earliest source is from the oldest astrological book in Judaism, and this is a very strong claim that he's making. The oldest book in Judaism, and I think that all the Jewish scholars who look beyond just learning Talmud, called the Sefer Yetzirah, the Book of Creation. That's its name. It was written by Avram Avinu, who was the first Jew. He lived approximately 3,700 years ago, and also the master astrologer of his generation. So today, astrology is not popular in the rabbinic world. Some of the rabbis are interested in this, and particularly some Sephardim. But basically, this science, the way he's going to teach us to us now, is really something new for us to see. He says the Talmud tells us that people came from all over the world to learn from Avram Avinu and delve into their horoscopes. This Sefer Yetzirah is a very short book, but with a couple of pages of data, and yet there have been nearly 100 commentaries on it throughout the ages by the various leading sages and Kabbalists, and none claim a definitive grasp of the book's depth of wisdom and mystical insight. The book discusses 3 main subjects. The first one are the 10 spheros, which he says spheros/spheres. There's other in the Eitz Chaim. Let's talk about what a sphera is of Kabbalah. So there's 10 spheros of Kabbalah. Then there are 22 letters in the basic Hebrew language. So it's 22 letters. Then the 22 letters. Then the third thing, we want to talk, this book talks about astrology with its planets and signs. And he said in this book that it is in this book that the principle of permutations of the Hebrew alphabet is first introduced into writing. Now, we'll read a little bit more over here to get us started. Before we start with the book, let us talk about a bit about the chart of the first man, who is Adam Harishon. That's a Hebrew word for, Hebrew saying for the first man. Adam has 5 levels in his chart. So let's take a look, as we said before in the intro. This is really the beginning of the chart. Whoop, I don't have it on the screen, so let me get it on the screen here. So this is the beginning of the chart of the first man. And in that chart, we have this name shining onto this man. So this is where he starts. He has the name, as we said before, which is Havaya. That's one level. Then also another level, which is a combination of the name Adni, and it has a switch in it in the order of the letters. Then this also refers to the tribe of Reuven. That's the firstborn son of Yaakov Avinu. It's the sign which we call in English Aries. And it is the house of, I think that word is life. The house of life. This is where everything comes from. So those are the 5 levels. So we'll stop right here, and we'll make another shir, and we'll get an idea of the 5 levels. Now, as I said before, just to finish up, as you go around the horoscope, then you see that the name, which was originally Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, and we're saying that behind all of this circle is the light of God. And the light of God is that all the white in this thing is the light of God. But there are receptacles, which are called letters, through which the light shines towards us. So the light shines into the letters Yud and He and Vav and He. In that order, that is the time of the original chart of Adam Rishon. But the next month, there's going to be a different permutation of these letters. And instead of being Yud K Vav K, it's going to be Yud K K Vav. That's also a difference in the way that the light shines on us. So this is the month we call Aries. This is the month we call Taurus. Then we go on to see continuing on changes. There are 12 different possibilities of how the name Yud K Vav K can be spelled. Now we're going to understand that because that's with the concept of permutation, but we also have it in sub-areas. We have this Adni also changes, and it keeps changing and changing and changing as the world continues. So here we are in right now, as I'm saying this year, we're at the end of the month of January, which is the beginning of the sun sign of Aquarius. So what the sky is like for wherever you live now, and what it's going to be like in a month from now when we will move into the to the sign of Pisces, and then into the spring, which is the sign of Aries, back into this again, all of those combinations of light that are shining are going to change. This is Baruch Fleischman, and this is the first year in this sequence that we're doing on the Jewish astrology, cosmic science.